going on, everybody? Welcome to the Friday edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Rayen Patnaik as we break down Friday's 8/9 game NBA DFS slate. So we had a game get canceled, which would have made it 10 for both sites, you would think. But then DraftKings just left off the Denver-Cleveland game, so there's only 8 games on the DraftKings main slate and 9 on the FanDuel main slate. So that's going to be fun to deal with. Rayen Patnaik, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well. It was going to be a fun late swapping night affair tonight with the Lakers, Nets, Kings, Miami game. Expecting some starting lineups to be pretty pivotal in our decision-making later tonight. But tomorrow we got an 8-9 game slate like you mentioned. Obviously a bigger slate, a lot more studs, a lot more value, hopefully. Should be exciting to look at it as an aerial view as we get started. I
love jamming in DeAndre Bembry. I don't know what you're talking about. I had plenty of value on this slate. But a 3-gamer. We had a nice big 2.5-hour gap here in between the 4:30 p.m. Pacific time lock time and then the 2 7 o'clock games. So thought we'd get this up nice and early. We have all the prices. We have everything sitting in front of us. Before we get started, get down to that bottom bar, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when this and all the other content at Awesemo is going live. You're ready to party.
Let's do it.
All right, let's close out the week strong. Going to the top end at point guard. Let's start over on DraftKings because that's kind of a good spot to be sitting at. We like all of our sites. $10,100 for Steph Curry up against Orlando. So first game of the day right off the bat. If you want to lock up some salary with a guy who just shoots the ball better than anybody on planet Earth. Did you see how many three-point shot attempts he had last game?
No, I want to guess 17 because he missed
20.
a ton in the first half. Okay.
He shot the ball 20 times from 3 against the Heat in that overtime game. Just wanted to let it be known. 42 minutes.
As he should.
Yeah, well, as he should. Okay, that's fair. That's actually a fair point. It's better than him than I guess Draymond Green was scratched, but Damian Lee, one Toscano Anderson, I suppose. Steph Curry, 23-point attempts. Going up against Orlando, Michael Carter-Williams, best of luck, sir. Trae Young, 9,500 up against Boston. Trae Young was kind of a nice little sneaky contrarian play up against this Boston squad in the last time out. 57.75. I guess everybody went completely nuclear on that slate, so it didn't really matter on Wednesday. But obviously a great line, 40 actual points, 8 assists in that 8-point win up against Boston. And then we got a little bit of a gap here. But Ben Simmons is questionable. He ended up having that dealio. Oh, no, he's probable, so scratch what I said there. 9,100, though, is a big tag to see with Ben Simmons there. And then I'll include Donovan Mitchell and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because they are point guard eligible over on DraftKings here as well. 8,300 and 8,200. Talk to me about the top end of point guard.
Obviously, leading off with Steph Curry, who was named to the All-Star starting lineup, much deserved. Keep in mind, there might be some All-Star snubs who want to come out and play with a chip on their shoulder. That has happened historically in the past. Just to name off the All-Star starters, I want to say off the top of my head, it went Kyrie, Beal, KD, Giannis, and Embiid in the East. And then in the West, we got Luka and Steph and LeBron and Kawhi and Jokic, if I'm not mistaken. I think that is your respective 10.
Got it.
LeBron and KD will be the captain. Obviously, some notable studs is the James Harden. I thought he deserved a starting nod. And Dame Lillard and Luka were tied, but I think the fan vote went to Luka. So keep in mind with that situation over there. Obviously, there will be some other snubs when the reserves come out. Steph Curry played the Magic a couple weeks ago. For those who recall, he put up north of 60 fantasy points. You'll take north of 60 fantasy points from him at that price tag, especially on a 9-game slate when you need high price studs to obliterate their price tag to really be pay off for them. Ben Simmons taking on Chicago, obviously came off that career game against Utah, did not play the last game. I think we can definitely consider Ben Simmons in this matchup. Trae Young, $9,200, was great against Boston last time, put up 50 fantasy points. It's great to see Trae Young show some flashes of himself of last year when he was named an All-Star. I think the shot volume's coming around. The injuries have been helping him be more of an offensive lead over there. I think definitely should be considered. Donovan Mitchell versus this Clippers matchup. Obviously, Mitchell has been playing with a lot more ball handling duties without any Conley, who was kind of ruled out right before tip-off last time. Against this Clipper matchup, keep in mind the Clippers are dealing with some injuries with Kawhi and PG. It's not the same defensive team that they are. Donovan Mitchell could definitely outperform that price tag. No worries. There's a solid mid-tier options, and especially in a 9-game slate. You can consider a CP3, a Van Vliet on a back-to-back against the Cake Minnesota matchup. I think Lonzo Ball, 6,300. Jordan Clarkson, it seems like he's just smashing whenever he touches a court nowadays. He's lead sixth man of the year. Seems like a runaway sixth man of the year. Kobe White hasn't reached an upside in some time. I think definitely all these guys could be considered. Some spend down options over there on FanDuel and value where you get the roster too. As gross as it sounds, I think Carter Williams, if he's going to play 29 minutes, that's a pretty nice minutes that he's going to be thrown at. I'll consider a $4,500 Carter Williams for sure. That's kind of the cheapest I'm willing to go on FanDuel. No one really else stands out to me. Maybe, Denver has everyone back. Compazzo, Monty Morris are not as appealing as they used to be.
But Gary Harris is out, so let it be known. So Gary Harris just got ruled out, like maybe, I don't know, it was like in the middle of the afternoon here. So okay. I do think Compazzo playing 25 minutes in two of those games here without Harris, played 25 minutes with Harris back in this last one, but obviously the 39 you don't expect to see out of it. But I think there are some minutes available for him. He's played well in these last three where he's been appearing, so I don't completely hate the idea of taking a flyer or two here. The thing is, he's got a cool name and people like to click on his name, so there's maybe a little bit of that issue. He's available to you just over on FanDuel. DraftKings just left him off, so long as that game continues to be off the slate, we don't even have to worry about him over there. Thomas Satoransky can randomly spike some kind of minutes. He played 26 in the last one out. If you had told me he was going to get 26 minutes of 4,100, I might have had a couple shares of him there, but obviously underperformed there. Philadelphia, as if Ben Simmons is good to go here, he is probable. I definitely don't know if I'd want to try to do any picking on that team whatsoever, but somebody to maybe take a couple of flyers on. Anybody else you want to touch base with?
I think we should hop on right over to the shooting guard spot.
I guess Peyton Pritchard. You could play his 22 minutes at 3,900 on FanDuel, but that's not going to be for me. Getting to the top end of shooting guard, we'll start over on FanDuel. Zach LaVine, 9,500. Just continues to have crazy, outrageous shot volume. Put up 37 real points, 54.5. Again, on the day where everybody went off in that slate. Paul George, he actually says game time decision for him, so we'll see. He hasn't played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive he has missed, so should he come back, 8,800 is kind of a nice price tag to be looking at. However, Kawhi Leonard, who ended up being the guy who got scratched in the afternoon when everybody thought he was going to come back, we'll just have to see how all of this Clippers news ends up breaking out. It's going to be wild with them again, I'm sure. Going to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 8,300, had his first game back in 4. He had missed the last 4. Played 32 minutes right out of the gate, which was nice to see. 33.6 on FanDuel, not nice to see at 8,300. And then Donovan Mitchell, 53.1 in the last time out, 33 minutes against the Clippers. And last guy I should include, Fred VanVleet. Kyle Lowry, it sounds like, is closer to doubtful on this back-to-back. Now we would get a date with Minnesota and their inept defense. Obviously at 8K, I would have a ton of interest. Talk to me about the top end of shooting guard.
Yeah, LaVine, 9,500 against Philly. Box score watchers, I think, are go there. I think 9,500 might be a little too expensive for me on a 9-game slate. I like saving the salary over there in FanDuel to a guy like VanVleet, Mitchell, even Devin Booker against New Orleans. Booker is someone who's getting more of a shot volume up of late. I think Monty Williams has found a way to get him a bit going. I think you can definitely consider Lou Will if both Kawhi and PG are out, priced at $6,700 and $6,600 respectively. Andrew Wiggins, 6,500. I know he's not anything exciting, but he has turned into a pretty elite defender in Golden State slowly. In his time there, I think for him to really get there, he needs to pick up those defensive peripherals over there in FanDuel. Over there in DK, 9,300 for LaVine, still kind of too expensive. I prefer $8,300 Mitchell, even an $8,200 SGA. I like those prices, but like you said, VanVleet and Middleton, I like both of those prices respectively. Malik Beasley had a disciplinary issue, still played 41 minutes last time. Put up 45 fantasy points. I expect him and Cat to lead the team in shot volume going forward without D'Angelo Russell. Terrence Ross had a massive upside game. I think I was kind of obviously 10 of 16 is not something that you expect Terrence Ross to repeat, but I prefer going to Clarkson over Ross, save the money there. Kobe White, $6,100. Someone who had some great upside games early on. I want to say a couple months ago. It's been a while. This guy has only crossed like 30 fantasy points like 3 out of the 10 games at 6,100. He has the potential to get 40 fantasy points. He's a young player, but really kind of not that kind of a liability on defense. I do like his game going in the future, but if he's coming in low, and I'd be willing to take some shots with Kobe White. Some spend down options. I guess Eric Bledsoe, your honorable mention. I think we got to mention him. I think at 5K, and I believe he's in the 4s on FanDuel. He is 4,800. If Stan Van Gundy is going to give him some extended minutes, I think you can definitely consider him. Keep in mind with the Dylan Brooks situation, I believe he is questionable. That might open up some shooting guard minutes for guys like a Melton, a Conchar. I believe Desmond Bane might get an additional run there. So the Memphis shooting guard rotation will be really interesting if Dylan Brooks is ruled out, because he plays quite a bit of minutes, and it's going to sprinkle down into some secondary guys that we usually never really touch. So keep in mind with that situation over there. That kind of wraps up the shooting guard spot. Is there anyone else that stands out to you as kind of like a pay-up spot, usually on a night-to-night basis? The mid-tier value is not as appealing as I thought it might be.
Yeah, I was giving you the Last Dance meme. I was doing the security guard dude. I don't see a whole heck of a lot. I mean, Seth Curry is still 4K. You're going to get 35 minutes on FanDuel of Seth Curry. You could do worse than just punting with him. Terrence Mann is somebody that I've had quite a bit of interest in. We saw 36 and 29 minutes with Paul George and with Kawhi Leonard out. So if they're both out again, another guy you could possibly punt with. But yeah, as you said, I mean, the option of Fred VanVleet should Kyle Lowry be out. I really don't care how he does today. I haven't looked at a single second of that game here yet. But I'm pretty sure that I would have some definite interest there, but so would the field. Devin Booker is 7,700, so that seems like an all right spot for somebody who's kind of like offensively coming alive a little bit. Do not play Terrence Ross at 6K. I refuse to chase that 29 minutes, 50 spot. Like I will play the hard pass button over there on FanDuel. Going over to DraftKings, like, yeah, Jordan Clarkson, 6,200. That number's up there now, too. 33 minutes, 32.5. Like, he's basically just appropriately priced. It's hard for him to get on top of that tag going forward here. The one guy that I do want to give a shout out to, because he has just started to, like, assert himself a little bit more offensively. He shot the ball awful last game, but 6K, Anthony Edwards over on DraftKings. On FanDuel, his price is 6,300. That's not as good, but I do like taking some shots there. D'Angelo Russell is going to be out for an extended amount of time. This Toronto team does get up and down the floor pretty well. It shouldn't be an issue for him to get some of these minutes. I guess Ricky Rubio played pretty well the other night too. I don't expect him to play as well as he did in that spot. Ricky Rubio, 35 minutes, 45.1. Yeah, I'll take some shots on Anthony Edwards too. Do you like that? And then we'll move on.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a option to go to. Anthony Edwards is kind of has shown some flashes of why he went number one overall. Obviously, he's a rookie. Consistency is always an issue with these rookies. Maybe he picks that up going down the season.
Yeah, quit thinking that a number one pick has to be LeBron James. Like that's not the way that this works. This is not Anthony Bennett, and this is not LeBron James. This is in the middle, and that's still an all right middle. However, it's not LaMelo Ball, so that's what really upsets me. But anywho, Timberwolves fandom away. Head over to awesemo.com/joinNBA. Make sure that you're checking out some of those packages. We have an array of packages, different price tiers. We have something available whether you're a professional, whether you're somebody who's just getting your feet wet in DFS, or all of us who sit in that middle ground, somewhere in that middle ground. Just make sure that you're checking out some of the offerings that we have over at awesemo.com. The projections have just been ridiculous of late. There's a couple days, so I do like to make my own projections, but lately it feels like I've been crunched for time here and there, and I just can't tell you how impressed I am every single day comparing my notes with Alex Baker's minutes notes, and it's just so impressive how spot on those guys are. So I always default to them anyway because they are very, very sharp. I'm happy to be a part of this community, but come on over, do some of the things that can really help this channel. Hit those like buttons and subscribe buttons, but more so, get behind the paywall, get into the Slack chat, and stop guessing and start winning. Let's get to small forward position. Top end on DraftKings, Kawhi Leonard, 9,700, questionable for the 94,000th slate in a row. Joy to the world. Ben Simmons, 9,100, small forward eligible. Jason Tatum, 8,800. That price tag didn't go up coming off of, I mean, he went up $100. Whoop-de freaking do. He's going to be super popular. 55.5, didn't hurt anybody, didn't burn anybody the night before, so go right back to him. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Same exact matchup. Brandon Ingram going up against a slower Phoenix team. This might be the first game all year I don't really have a ton of Brandon Ingram exposure. I'm just going to throw that out there because I am the Brandon Ingram whisperer. So as such, I must tell you that I am off of Brandon Ingram tomorrow. I will be on Zion Williamson. I will get to that later. And then Jaylen Brown, the big news for the day tomorrow. He is questionable going up against Atlanta. He is 7,900. Obviously, there's a crazy amount of value that would open up for the Celtics. However, there are a number of guys between Javonte Green, between Semi Ojeleye, between Williams, all of the Williamses for the Celtics that have minutes that could open up as a result. Jaylen Brown out would open up a lot of Celtics value. I just said that twice in a row. I don't know why. Talk to me about small forward, Renpak.
Yeah, over there on DK, on Kawhi, Ben Simmons. Kawhi is someone who I'll have interest in. It was kind of, I was hoping that he was on the more of the probable side than the outside the other night. Now he's $9,700. I think since this injury has knocked him out for 2 games, now I'm a little more concerned that there might be some sort of minutes limit with him. So keep in mind with that situation. If he's out, again, I think all those options in the Clippers could definitely be in play. Simmons 9,100 versus Chicago. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Jason Tatum obviously went absolute bananas, put up 55.5 fantasy points against his Atlanta team. I like that price tag at $8,800. Let's see. I feel like he might not be owned as much. He's not been consistent. Obviously missed a lot of time due to COVID-19. I think Tatum over there on DK, fine spend up option. And especially if Jaylen Brown doesn't play, I expect a lot of those shots to go to him. I like what you said about Brandon Ingram. My favorite price tag over there, I might be Chris Middleton, $7,300. It's a little too cheap.
He doesn't have a point in the first quarter. I just looked it up because I had to know. God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Chris Middleton, are you kidding me? $7,300 on FanDuel. Go ahead, continue.
Gotta keep playing players till they're due, right? I mean, if Middleton at $7,300 versus OKC, you're gonna have to like him. You expect him to take 20-plus shots.
I do like him. I have tons of him. What are you talking about? Oh, my God. Okay, keep going. Go.
Kyle Anderson, 7K, put up, 50 fantasy points last time? This is a new slow-mo. It's kind of hard to expect 5 steals or 6
stocks. I hate him,
again.
too, for completely different reasons because I don't roster him and I roster Middleton. All right, keep going again. I'm done interrupting you, I promise.
And I think some mid-tier options, Bogdanovich is a fine option. Michael Porter came out, put up 30 fantasy points. I like that. Malone gave him 30 minutes. I think you can definitely consider Porter Jr. in the mid-tier. Some spend-down options are obviously popular thing to do over there on FanDuel when you're rostering too. Gallinari's playing mid-20s minutes, 4,600. He has to get hot to pay off that price tag. Outside of that, Kent Bazemore had a career night the other night. Not career night. In terms of fantasy-wise, it was great because he put up 48 fantasy points. Obviously, Draymond not playing helped quite a bit.
At 0.001% ownership.
So if Draymond were to be, I believe he's questionable right now, I think people will jump to him. Now, if he's overly popular in a 9-game slate, I'll be willing to come under the field on that. There's some other pivots you can definitely consider, especially if in the Memphis situation of Dylan Brooks were to be rolled out. And outside of that, Jarrod Vanderbilt, 4,100. I'm sorry, I jumped over to the power forward situation, but that kind of wraps up to the small forward spot.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. This is gross. This is not fun. We just saw that OG Anunoby is going to be on a minutes limit up to 30 minutes tonight. It's tough to get to him on an 8/9 game slate. to be able to get there at 6,400 over on FanDuel. That would definitely be a pass for me. He's just not priced for playing only 30 minutes. Like, you want to get your 36 out of him, so that's probably going to be a definite pass. 5,800 on DraftKings, still difficult to get to. Looking around like this mid-range, it gets really, really bleak. Like, I don't want to play Sadiq Bey. I don't want to have any interest in these OKC guys now that you've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander back. You're going to get Horford back, which creates another issue there. So all the OKC value that existed 2 weeks ago feels like a memory because it is no more. Going down here to like Dwayne Bacon, who has been playing or had been playing minutes until Evan Fournier got back. You're going to have to pass on him there. I'm just going to say this is just an awful, awful position. Like Jason Tatum is going to carry way more ownership sitting there over on DraftKings than I think just about anywhere. Like I expect him to be a very, very popular option. And then for all of us Chris Middleton truthers, that what is happening in the world today? Like, just please score the basketball. So on FanDuel, 7,300, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So I'm just going to keep rostering Chris Middleton. That is about all I got. You ready to move on?
Yeah, let's hop on over to the power forward spot.
God, okay. I'm over it. Chris Middleton, just be better, and then we don't have to worry about this. Giannis Antetokounmpo is 10,800 over on DraftKings. Jason Tatum's 8,800 over on FanDuel. 11,300. Like, obviously a little bit more expensive, but like, he's just such a standout option. Him and Jason Tatum on this slate, especially obviously if Brown misses, if Jaylen Brown is out for that game. 9,400 will feel like a discount. Zion Williamson, I keep telling you, I keep saying, it's coming offensively. It's like coming together. Him in the paint is just fun to watch. He's a bowling ball. It's beautiful. 36 real points, 54.2 in just 33 minutes. 8,700 it's a big tag for Zion at this point in time, but like continues to meet it. Obviously, we want him to get to 36, 38 minutes, but he just keeps putting up production. So what can you say? 8,700 is probably appropriate. Tobias Harris up against Chicago. Generally don't want to go back to that with Embiid and Simmons both in the lineup, but obviously one of them randomly sits, you play Tobias Harris. That's gone pretty well for all of us this year. And then Jeremy Grant got switched over to the power forward position now that Blake Griffin's gone. So he's at 7,600 there over on FanDuel, coming off of a nice game at the weaker small forward position where we rostered him a lot. What do you think about playing him there? And then also, we got to talk about it because it happened. Draymond Green is questionable with an ankle injury. That's going to be unfun to figure out, 7,600. Talk to me about power forward.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start with Jeremy Grant. Look, his stat line was absolutely insane last time. I think he went 43 points, just had 2 rebounds and a block, and that's it. I think he's due for. I think he was above average rebounder when he was in Denver. So he used to be someone who crashed the boards, did a lot of hustle plays, but now he's like, if you're offensive go-to guy, Jeremy Grant 7,500 versus Memphis. I like that quite a bit. I like Siakam against Minnesota, $7,700 power forward center eligibility. And Zion Williamson is probably put together best 4-game stretch of his short NBA career. Dude, he's only played like 50 games. So I think people have been really hard on him, especially the media, like, why are we waiting on Zion? But look, I think this is the best 4-game stretch, obviously. He's putting everything together, like you said. Tobias Harris, I think, is in play, purely because of the matchup against Chicago. They're pretty terrible on defense. I like Tobias Harris, even at that price tag versus Chicago. Bogdanovich of the Jazz, obviously 3-point bonus. You want him to play mid 30 minutes, and I think that will be something that's really important to consider. There's some Clippers news that's been coming out right now, and Paul George, I believe, is just ruled out.
Yep.
Tomorrow. So
Paul George is out. Kawhi Leonard, questionable. Joy.
So there'll be some late swapping that's going to be on the table for tomorrow, as there is every night. And some paid on options. If Draymond Green does play, I think I think you can definitely consider him. Maybe there would be just being extra precautionary with him. At 6,600, he played Orlando just a couple weeks ago, put up 36 fantasy points. Orlando has been really bad on defense. Obviously, the injuries. That team has just been ravaged by injuries all year long. Some spend down options. It's tough, especially in the power forward spot. Daniel Tice, $4,500. I think should play tomorrow against Atlanta. I think that's someone we can definitely go to. But under that, man, it is a tough situation over there in DK. Over there on FanDuel, the power forward spot, outside of I guess Ibaka 5,200. I know he played only 20 minutes. Zubac has been seeing some minutes there with the injury situation. I think Jay Crowder 4,800 did start last time, played 30 minutes. I think we can consider him if he starts. How do you feel about Jarrod Vanderbilt? I know his minutes have been inconsistent, but I like it when he plays north of 20 minutes. We kind of referred to him as a Boucher light type of player. How do you feel about Jarrod Vanderbilt at his respective price tag?
Okay, Boucher light. But let's hit the brakes a little bit. Jarrod Vanderbilt is over a fantasy point per minute guy generally, though. Has been for the year. Obviously, we had a limited run with him. He's going to be playing alongside Cat, which I would expect that number to come down a little bit off of 1.05 or whatever it was sitting at here of late. But he does get things done on the court. He only played 18 against Indiana in that overtime game, so that kind of freaks me out a little bit. I'm not kind of like ringing the bell for him, but as you said, there are not many punts here at power forward. If you're trying to get different, you could do worse than a high fantasy point per minute guy with a path to more minutes if things break his way. I don't know, 4,400 might be a little bit tough. I hate to do it because I haven't been rostering this guy up to this point, but Patrick Williams is only $100 more, and he's pretty much secured in for 30 minutes a game here at this point on this Bulls team. They're not very good. I would be happy to have a little bit, even in a tough matchup up against Philly, more so than going to, oh my dear God, did you just see this? What just came in? Rashaan Holmes is going to try to test out his oh my God. Are you kidding me?
To see it. He loves to see it, right?
Honestly, this would be phenomenal news for us as late swap people to have Rashaan Holmes get into the middle of this game. It would muck up. You'd have no value to speak of, but Rashaan Holmes. This is so fun to do live. We'll do it live. Let it be known that we are doing this in the middle of a slate, which is awfully fun. But we're waiting on that Kings starting lineup big time. Looking around the rest of the position, it's just garbage. You ready to go to center and finish this thing up?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I was thinking earlier today with Draymond Green, if he doesn't play and you get these small little Golden State dudes out there, how much Nikola Vucevic is too much Nikola Vucevic on this slate. He's 9,900 over on DraftKings, which isn't like my favorite thing to see in the entire world. He's 9,700 over on FanDuel. Both of those seem exorbitant, like for price tags, but he's absolutely gone ham in a number of spots without any true point guard out there. Obviously, Evan Fournier back is a thing, but he still had 24 shot attempts last game, went 0 for 7 from 3, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 16 points. Like, he still put up 46. It's kind of like almost a floor. And if you were to shoot the ball better, I mean, I really, really like Vucevic for tournaments on this slate. Joel Embiid sitting above him at 10,700 up against Chicago, at 10,300. I mean, that guy's unbelievable too. I just love both of these centers on this slate. I think a lot of my FanDuel ownership will be condensed around those two. However, you do get Karl Anthony Towns at a little bit of a price discount, and we saw the ceiling, 37 minutes, 53.5. You're getting a discount, 9,200 over there. I mean, we got 3 really, really nice spend-up options at center tomorrow. Probably like the marquee position you want to go to. Play 2 centers on DraftKings, mix them up. Which ones do you prefer? Give me 1, 2, 3. Who you prefer?
1, 2, 3. Who do I prefer? Keep in mind, Giannis is a center eligible player against OKC. He played OKC 2 nights ago, put up 75 fantasy points. So I'm gonna tell you on center is absolutely loaded tomorrow's slate. One of the best center slates that we've dealt with in terms of matchup, salary, all things put together. Center utility is going to be a very, very popular option. Man, from Giannis all the way down to even Capella at 7,200. All those centers are in play and with a ton of upside, even because of their matchup.
Gobert's 23 and 20 for 55 fantasy points the other night too. I mean, it's incredible.
So these prices are all very appealing, and especially their matchups are all great. Jokic versus Cleveland, Embiid versus Chicago, Vooch versus Golden State, Cat up against Toronto. Gobert just smashed. Capella can smash. Valanciunas, no one's going to slow him down in Detroit. All of these guys are great. They're loaded. You can't really go wrong right now. It's going to be, if these guys come in with projected lower ownership, there is a lot of merit of spreading your exposure out throughout all those guys. Now, obviously, barring any news, it can change in a hurry. But all those guys are in a loaded smash situation. Like I like these guys quite a bit. Obviously, I'm gonna like Embiid 10-3. I like saving those $300 and going to Embiid over Jokic. I think Jokic might have quite a bit of salary. Man, it's tough to pinpoint one of these guys. But I think going back to your 1, 2, 3 question, with salary and everything put together on FanDuel, I think I like Vooch, Embiid, and then Anthony Towns.
It's probably my order too. That's my exact order. Vooch, I think, is like the guy that I want to get to if Draymond's out. I mean, there's just no resistance there.
I still like him if Draymond is in.
I mean, Draymond's 6'6", so yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. So I do think it's definitely Vooch should perform well. He only put up 45 fantasy points against Golden State the other time they played him, which was on the 11th of February. So they played recently. So keep in mind, but we know what his upside can be. But man, center is a loaded position tomorrow. I think you agree. Just like matchup and size.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many spend ups. There's so many mid range options. There's also a couple guys down here on the floor that have crazy upside. Naz Reid put up 42.25 in 18 minutes. I don't expect that to happen again. But Tristan Thompson at 4,100 is going to play 27, 28 minutes again. I guess Daniel Tice back can cut into that a little bit here or do whatever. But Robert Williams is now up to 3,600. That's going to be a pass. We don't really need to go to him for value. A little bit riskier than what it would need to be. Hernan Gomez, who won a dude $100K the other night in a single lineup that he threw into the $8 or the $15, whatever the main iteration was on DraftKings for that night, put up 11 and 17 to go for 33.75 under 4K. I mean, you better play more than one lineup tomorrow is what I got to say. If you're playing over on DraftKings or FanDuel and you're just trying to lock in with one dude or one lineup for tournaments, spread it out a little bit more is my recommendation. Would you agree with such things, or am I just going to leave it there?
I mean, it's always tough for those people who just feel comfortable playing one lineup.
Right.
Obviously, use the data at Awesemo.com to help make your informed decision for those who are playing one lineup. Obviously, you're playing 1 to 3, you have more options, but definitely use the ownership projections. I think it'll be in a 9-game slate, much bigger than, obviously, 3 times bigger slate than we have today. I think you can make some ownership pivots and put your lineup in a position with a ton of upside and avoiding some chalk options that you think your players will outperform.
Love it. Any other final words for the people here for the weekend? Weekend words, if you will.
No, thank you so much for obviously tuning in. Been another exciting week in NBA DFS. We're closing in on the first half. It goes by quick. The All-Star break is All-Star game is March 7th, so we're, I want to say, 2 weeks away, 3 weekends away from the All-Star game. It's been a quick first half. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed the show, and thank you so much for tuning in. Hit the like button as you guys end the week with us.
Exciting week for you, Mr. Second on FanDuel. Less exciting for me, who was leading the tournament the entire time until the end when Hassan Whiteside completely eradicated any chance I had. So hopefully he's in the starting lineup tonight and we can fade him and life will be better, right?
Sounds like a plan. We'll see what ends up happening tonight.
Yeah, best of luck for your lineups here. I'm speaking in the future. Good luck on your Thursday night lineups, but especially good luck on the Friday slate. We will catch you back here Sunday night / Monday morning for the Monday breakdown. Catch you later, guys.